So probably the biggest story out there in the Pokemon universe is that the market is crashing. And in one sense, yes, it's crashing, but for the most part, it's not. And what I have here in my dashboard in my ShinyBinder app is all of the SV era stuff. All of the sets, and I have, the line charts, and I have these massive card lists right here, all of Scarlet Violet stuff. And if we look at this line chart, which shows the percentage change compared to 90 days ago, or, across 90 days, you can see that a lot of sets are still pretty much up from, 90 days ago. In this chart, I have Scarlet Violet, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian, 151, Paradox Rift, Paldean Fates. And the red line, basically the set that has dropped the most in the Scarlet Violet era is 151. It's this red line right here. And I mean, we already know that it climbed to all-time highs this year. And now it is bottoming. Okay, maybe not bottoming. That's a weird way of saying it. It's dropping. It's falling. It fell, negative 7.6%. Negative 7.6% since 90 days ago, which, it's not like that tremendous a drop, but it is nonetheless the biggest drop in Scarlet Violet era. Everything else on this chart is, still pretty positive. Obsidian Flames is the yellow right here. And is this Paldean Fates? Paldean Fates is the blue, or no. Scarlet Violet is the darker blue. There's a lighter blue up here. So Obsidian and Scarlet Violet base, those are the two sets that have dropped, second to 151 in this chart. Everyone else is not doing too bad. Look, it's pretty much holding. There's a little bit of a drop, sure, compared to 90 days ago, but it's holding pretty high right here. And that would be Paradox Rift, Paldea Evolved, and again, Paldean Fates, yeah. Second chart here shows Temporal Forces, Shrouded Fable, Twilight, Stellar, Surging, Prismatic. Prismatic being this dark blue line up here. And then everybody else is down here. They're pseudo holding. I mean, they're still up from 90 days ago, which is not bad. Stellar Crown, it had actually gone to some pretty good highs like a month ago. And then has dropped a bit, but, still higher than 90 days ago. And then this crazy chart, because of how divergent these lines are. We have Journey Together, Destined Rivals, White Flare, and Black Bolt. And you probably have guessed White Flare, Black Bolt is these two lines that have shot up and continue to go up, granted, at a slower pace, at a slower velocity than before. And then the two bottom ones here, Destined Rivals and Journey Together. Journey Together is like negative 0.1% as of today. As though it's leveled out with what it was 90 days ago. And then Destined Rivals is here. Also kind of leveled out. And yes, Destined Rivals and Journey Together, they had seen quite a rise. They peaked sometime last month, about pretty much a month ago. And now they're starting to drop like this, but it's not like a crash. That I'll just put it that way. It's not a crash. It's just a decline, not quite, like a plunge to some new depths. And then if you're to look at the card list down here, they are currently arranged based off of the 30-day trend. So, the greatest percentage gain is at the top, and then the least percentage gain would be at the bottom. You do see some red as, you scroll down the charts. This one is Scarlet Violet, but if you compare it with the 90-day here, which is the next column over, I mean, the 90-day still has a decent amount of green. So it's not like these sets had like massive losses. But of course, if you were to have bought at the top, then yeah, you're looking at the 30-day and it's looking pretty red. But if you already collected cards, past 90 days ago, then you're still pretty green for the most part. Here's Paldea Evolved. I am on the second page. Here's the first page. Plenty of green. On 30-day, yeah, this is the 30-day, and then 90-day, there's even more green because Paldea Evolved is just an insanely good set that had been long undervalued for a very long time. Obsidian Flames, there's more red than green in 30-day, but 90-day, you got a bit more green compared to the 30-day. Journey Together, as we had seen in the charts, it had, suffered. It was one of the ones that suffered the most, but not too bad. It pretty much leveled out. So this is what the chart looks like. The card list chart, that is. Paradox Rift, plenty of green in 90-day. Destined Rivals, also like Journey Together. Evened out compared to its 90-day. 151 is what we see the most red in. So this is this chart. A lot of red even compared to its 90-day. Look at that. But that is fine if you had bought a long time ago because you're still in the green. And then there's the other ones. Paldean Fate, Temporal Forces, Shrouded Fable. So, compared to its 90-day, a lot of these Scarlet Violet sets are still doing not too bad. They're just holding at the very least. And, White Flare, Black Bolt, of course, they've just been going up and up and up. If we were to do the 30-day here, 30-day here. Yeah, look at all the green. Look at that. Wow, green on both 30-day and 90-day. Amazing. Going to the second page for both White Flare, Black Bolt, you will see some more red. But again, compared to the 90-day, 90-day is still very green. Look at that. Jeez. Still a very popular set. And after looking at Scarlet Violet, well, let's look at Mega Evolution because that's really where the, quote unquote, crash is. This is the 90-day for Mega Evolution era sets. Got Chaos Rising, Perfect Order, Ascended Heroes, Mega Evolution, Phantasmal, Pitch Black. Yeah. So this blue is Chaos Rising. It started pretty high. And I think Chaos Rising is the one that actually, quote unquote, crashed the most. It has dropped the most. Perfect Order is this green. It has also been on a decline since its release, and it continues that particular trend. And maybe it's leveling out. Ascended Heroes also didn't really do much. Ascended Heroes is this yellow line. It's just been sitting around, and if anything, things have actually dropped also for Ascended Heroes. Mega Evolution hasn't been doing much, as well as Phantasmal Flames. Pitch Black just released, and it is this little blue line right here, light blue line. Looks like in a backwards L. Pitch Black had dropped, of course. That is, for the most part, to be expected for practically any set. But it's actually starting to gain. Look at that. Starting to curve up. Because certain cards, not all cards, but certain cards are gaining in popularity, or at least in demand, and, people are buying them. One of them being the Mega Dark Rye SIR. Not the gold Mega Hyper Rare card, but the SIR one. Now let's look at the card list for all of these sets. Well, there's not a whole lot to look at except a lot of red. Lots of red. Look at all that red. And these two up here, Chaos Rising, Perfect Order. How about these two down here? Phantasmal and Ascended Heroes. Ascended Heroes is looking red, 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 red. And then Phantasmal also looking red. There's a couple of greens, I believe, but for minor stuff. Oh, I think I added the double rares. Forgot to remove the double rares. And if I remove the double rares, where is the... I didn't even filter them. Oops. Illustration, Mega Hyper, SIR. So I really like my app. I can just filter pretty easily. Waiting for loading. Okay. So these are all the chases. You got the IRs, SIRs, ultra rares, and mega hyper rare. Yeah, we're seeing a smattering of greens and reds, but mostly reds. Here's Pitch Black. We don't really have a 30-day or 90-day trend line because it hasn't hit 30-day and 90-day. But we do have individual trend lines here for each card. And yeah, some of them are up. What is this up one? Slowbro, of course. Slowbro IR. The derpy Pokemon that everybody loves. And then Goldeen also doing pretty well. This is an upward trend here. Delmise or Delmise. Also upward. Toucannon. Armarouge is kind of up and then a little down. Fomantis is, looks like kind of up and so a lot of these IRs are actually going up. Mega Dark Rye SIR is the top valued card at $306. it is slowly going up. Not as sharply as the IRs, but that's no surprise because this is, it's already a $300 card. How much higher can it go, in a short span of time? And then this card list is the Mega Evolution base. Lots of red. And I also forgot to filter out, the commons, uncommons, and whatnot. But looking at the card number list here, these are the IRs and whatnot. Yeah, not doing too hot, Mega Evolution sets. But that really is where the crash is. Now, if you're wondering about Sword and Shield, what's going on with Sword and Shield? Is there a crash in Sword and Shield? No, not really. Here is, I think this is Evolving Skies, this blue line. I used this chart in one of my vids previously. Yeah, it's still going up. And then what about this? Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, Sword and Shield, Champion's Path. The only thing that really declined here is Darkness Ablaze, but that's Darkness Ablaze. Still high from its 90-day, average. 90 days ago it was down here. Still up. Over this chart, Silver Tempest, Crown Zenith, Lost Origin, Astral Radiance, Brilliant, Fusion. And also, all of them are still up. Crown Zenith has started to drop, and last time I did a video, I covered Crown Zenith and how you should be looking at Crown Zenith, and I still think you should be looking at Crown Zenith. And this might be a really good time to buy some Crown Zenith. And then in this chart, Pokemon Go Celebrations, Chilling Reign, Battle Styles, Vivid Voltage, Shining Fates. Yeah, they're holding. This yellow over here is Chilling Reign, and that actually probably looks the best in this chart because it is still slowly climbing. Celebrations is doing the worst. It doesn't really know where to rest. So it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. Like people don't know what to do with Celebrations. I don't know. But I am not collecting Celebrations. I don't really like it. But yes, there is really no crash in Sword and Shield either. So what can you do with all this information then? Well, of course, it's an opportunity. And for myself personally, I am looking at the Mega Evolution stuff for opportunity. So this dashboard is what I call card buys. It's cards that I am looking at buying or have already started buying. And it's, Mega Evolution stuff. Because Mega Evolution has, so to speak, crashed the most. But there's so many good cards in it. Whether you're a collector or an investor, this is definitely a big opportunity. And the card that I am looking at is on this page, Froakie. Of course. Come on. I think this is the first IR Froakie that we have, as well as Frogadier. And they are part of the Greninja Evolutionary line. In my P-brain, there is no way that these cards would not be popular. And right now, Froakie is actually starting to gain in value right here. See this little boop? It's already ricocheting. Frogadier, sort of. Actually, it's kind of holding down here at $8.07. And I think for the most part, people don't know what to do with that middle evolutionary line. The stage, is this stage 2? Or is this stage 1? No, stage 1, right? We got the basic, and then we got stage 1, and there's stage 2. Well, in a 3-part evolution, people, for the most part, the pattern has been the middle one would be the least valuable of the 3. People just want the really, really cute, small, basic form, or its maximum evolution. And the middle is like, what do we do? It's like, it's the middle child that kind of gets neglected sometimes. But it's still a good card. This is a good opportunity. And look how pretty it is. It's so good. And then we have Xerneas. Been a long time since we've seen Xerneas, and I don't think it's ever been an IR. Chespin is not necessarily like the most popular starter Pokemon, but it still might be worth looking at because it is still a starter Pokemon. Same thing as Rowlet. Actually, Rowlet I would think is like more popular than Chespin. And so I bought a lot of Rowlets because it's so cheap and it's so cute. I love this artwork and I love how cute he is. And the Denny, I am starting to build a nice page for the Denny right here. Same thing with Esper and Ampharos. I liked Ampharos before it was even popular. Raticate and Crobat, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with these two. Raticate is not a very popular Pokemon, but it is part of the original 151. And then Crobat is a part of Gen 2. And this is pretty cool artwork too. I kind of think it's underappreciated. And so I am starting to build up a Crobat page as well. Raticate I have not done anything with, but I'm putting it up here because I'm curious what's going to happen. There's a bit of a bounce right now for Raticate, but it's still pretty cheap. $2.78. Come on. Raticate? I know it's not a Team Rocket's Raticate, but it's still Raticate. Oh yeah, and then we have our newest set, Pitch Black, down here. These are the IRs that I would definitely look at. Slowbro, of course. Slowbro hasn't really dipped much. It's actually still gaining. Goldeen as well, not as much as Slowbro, but Goldeen is part of the original 151 too, and it looks so good. And Delmise, I am starting my Pitch Black Booster Bundle opening video, and in it, spoiler alert, I did pull a Delmise. And I noticed that there is Bonnet, Shuppet, Poltergeist, and Sinischi. What is Sinischi? Sinischi in this picture. It's in the background right here. So this is a really cool artwork. I didn't realize how cool it was until I pulled it and paid attention, closely to the art style and everything. So I want to build a page of Delmise, just saying. Armor Rouge as well, even though, it is dropping a bit. Still a good card to look at because it's Armor Rouge. And then Primarina, one of the starter evolutionary lines. It's basic form, Poplio, and then Brionne, and then Primarina. And then I put these 4 cards over here to show that I am looking at some Ascended Hero IRs as well. And I could not fit more tiles in my dashboard. I think you can only put up to 20. So if you're doing an arrangement like this, you can't really put a whole lot at the moment. But yes, looking at some Ascended Hero stuff, I collected a couple of Beautifly. I need to get some more Bonnet. Spiritomb, Marrow would be a good look as well. Again, they've been dropping, as you can see in these chart lines. So opportunity. And that is all for today. If you want to try out my free app, ShinyBinder.com, you could make your own dashboard like this, or like this, or like this. You could arrange it however you want and get all this data right at your fingertips. Well, you just go to ShinyBinder.com and then make an account. It's free. It currently only has Sword and Shield, 2 Mega Evolution, but that's still a whole ton of data to look at. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video.